Am I?
Yeah, you are. No, I'm joking. But that's what you've been doing to me for the last 3 fucking weeks.
And with that, hi and welcome
I hate you!
to the 2-Minute Terminator. Yes, of course, as tradition goes, we do start the recording while Ellie is still speaking unknowingly.
Arsehole.
So we have a nice little button to each show. And yes, hello, I'm Ethan McKinley, and welcome back. This is the 2-Minute Terminator.
Ellie, who also presents this goddamn show.
As I said, this is the 2-Minute Terminator. Before I introduce Ellie, of course, we do dismantle and discombobulate
sex life.
and take apart the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. I am Ethan McKinley, and of course my lovely, charming co-host Ellie Fitzgerald is also here.
Sup?
Good comeback. It's episode 35, and I just want to do a caveat to the show. Everyone, I apologise for only getting 3 shows out a week, but due to punishing work schedules of working nearly every day of the week, pretty much every day of the week, and weekends, we've been had great difficulty putting the show on, so we're only managing 3 a week. Please stick with us. You know we love you. We know you love us. And on that bombshell,
we know that you love to hear hit the music.
Yeah, I think this guy's a couple cans short of a 6-pack.
Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
Load up.
You didn't do the 4th. Thank God. It sucked. Yeah, it sucked.
I was a pig.
Yes,
I was a pig hunting for truffles.
Ellie, you will always be a pig to me. And the listeners.
I'm a PIG pig.
I need to, you know what, we should get rid of you and get like a sassy black woman to co-present the show.
Look, you're not Bill Burr, and you're not going to have a sassy black sidekick called Nia. It's never going to happen. Oh my god, how do you feel about the fact that Bill Burr and Nia are having a baby?
Fine. Bill Burr's nearly 50 though, but who knows? I mean, if I ever have kids, I'll be over 50.
I didn't see him as like having a baby kind of thing, like kind of guy. I don't know.
Me neither. But
Nia's cool. Nia's cool. I really like her.
Anyway, as I said, we do dismantle the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. This is episode 35. We are slowly stumbling through the film Terminator Genesis, a bit like a partially frozen Robert Partrick in Terminator 2. One of our legs has broken off, and now my arm's fallen off, but we still continue on. Like the Terminator, we will not stop ever until this film is finished. So we are on...
this saga is dead.
We are going from minutes 68 to 70, the 2 minutes bridging that gap, and it starts with...
Can I tell you what it starts with?
Yes.
We're marooned, all 3 of us, like exiles in time. Boom.
And it ends, of course, with Pops popping his knee back in.
Pops.
Pops. So yeah, let's talk about the clip. There's a few little things in here that fans wrongfully, it's a cock-up for the fans of Terminator actually, which we will come to at some point in the show. But this is the big MRI scene that was one of the big money shot really from the trailers. It was the T-1000 kind of phase shifting out as these little nanobots were sucked into the MRI machine, and he was kind of like ghosting away from it, trying to walk forward. A bit like me when I'm on Ket. Anyway, Ellie, you have thoughts?
Well, my first note, and something I actually really...
My first note is...
that Ethan's hairline was receding about a year ago, which is why I suggest that he doesn't cut it any shorter than his shoulders. No, I thought the opening of this particular 2 minutes was really good. Really enjoyed it. I thought...
hang on, record scratch moment. You told me my hair was receding and never to cut my hair. You sent me a text 2 days ago going, don't ever cut your hair, Ethan. What triggered that? I never asked you.
I saw a photo of Jason Momoa. Now, I've never known who I never even knew who he was, as I've never watched Game of Thrones. But something came up. I think there was a picture of him on the internet, and I just saw this guy.
No. I've seen it. It was on your Facebook feed, and it was him training to be Aquaman in the Justice League movie. And the drippy girl who posted that kind of gif of his training regime, she's written above it, and he's a great devoted husband. It's just like,
you know what's funny? That
up.
chick is actually a lesbian, so I don't know why she's saying that.
Well, this is the thing, ladies. Jason Momoa is about to hit the A-list big time. His wife should start ensuring everything. Make sure that prenup's watertight. If she's not prenuped, marry him and get a prenup. And because I don't think Jason's going to be around for much longer.
Why?
It's just the way she was like, and he's a devoted husband as well. It's just like, as if to say what? Because he's got long hair and he's a bit sexy. You should be cheating on a left, right, and centre. I don't know. I just think it's a bit silly.
So I'd never even heard of who this guy was. Discovered that he was from Game of Thrones. Then I was looking at photos of him and I was like, oh my god, this man is unreal. Like, just so.
No,
hot.
he's real.
No, but he's so hot. Like, he's so hot. But yet, when you cut all the hair off, literally does
He's nothing.
nothing. And I was just like, see, this is why it scares me when you go, I'm going to cut my hair short again. I
think he's hot in it with a certain look. He's hot with his eyeliner on and his beard and stuff. When he's just his regular self with long hair, I think
no, because I was just looking at images on Google. I wasn't typing in Game of Thrones.
All right, I'll send you some pics of him when he's in Conan without the beard. He looks ridiculous.
But he's hot, and I was just like, Ethan, just don't cut your hair, mate. Just don't do it.
Okay, so what's wrong with my receding hairline? We will come to the Terminator in a minute, listeners.
Oh, well, I was just cussing you out because you spoke over me and took the piss out of me.
Well, receding hairlines, Ellie, is quite pertinent to this show because as we discussed a couple of episodes back, we were actually watching, or I was watching this clip, we were discussing if Arnold's hair was real or not, and there's two camps that think it's real and other people that think it's a wig. I think it's a wig.
Okay.
The other receding hairline, of course, is Jason Clarke, who you didn't like initially as John Connor, and now, of course, you're a big fan. Now he's essentially doing his Agent Smith Hugo Weaving act when he's like, hey, we're exiles in time, Mr. Anderson.
Come so far. No, I just think he plays an evil nano Terminator bot really well. I thought he changed his whole. I don't know. I think he really got into the character, and even in this particular 2 minutes, I really enjoyed it. I found it very entertaining.
Again, though, he's not playing it like evil, and he's not actually out to kill these two people instantly like a Terminator would. He's kind of like reaching out to them to be allies, but I'm not sure for what purpose. I think
the reason that he is. I feel like he's almost like a newborn baby. Like he's kind of looking at everything and almost seeing everything for the first time. Because I genuinely believe that when he was shot, that is what triggered the machine part of him. So now he's just like feeling all these different things and these experiences and these different senses and whatever, and he's just like, Mum, Dad, join me, this is amazing. He's not solely Skynet, is he? Because he is still part human. So, and as a machine and a human being, it kind of makes him stronger than a human on its own or a Terminator on its own. So I think he's kind of going through all this stuff by himself.
Well, he's not a man and he's not a machine. He is more.
So no, I actually thought that the beginning, the opening line, "We're marooned, all three of us, exiles in time," I thought that was really good because it really does kind of describe exactly what is going on with these people. They don't really fit in any timeline, do they? They're just.
So what is his mission at this point then? Because if they are kind of ass bandits, if they are trapped in time. Ass masters.
They're trapped in time, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, he's like, we're exiles in time. So he's like, essentially, he's saying we're kind of nowhere at the moment. We're not really kind of should be killing each other. Is that what he's saying?
Along with the blacks.
Well, if you're an educated person, you'd say Kafka, who was a German-speaking Jew who was rejected by the Jews because he spoke German, and of course the Germans didn't like him because he was a Jew. Hence the short story. Which later led to a play by Stephen Burkhoff, Metamorphosis, starring Tim Roth, of course, who played Gregor Samsa, the man who was slowly turning into an insect rejected by both his family and society. I, of course, was in a production Metamorphosis when I was at
just
drama
thought that was all
college.
about you. So
kind of is. I'm a cockroach.
Once, what was my next? What were my next notes in this particular scene? Okay, so he's trying to.
Well, I asked you. I mean, what is his kind of thing? What is he reaching out to these people for at this point? Is it because they're all kind of marooned
I think
in
he's
time?
kind of
This
testing
is
the water to see what their reaction would be. I do believe that if they'd gone, oh yeah, okay, let's all get together, I reckon they would have ended up being killed eventually. I think it's more of a test. He's doing what you do, Ethan. He's testing the water. He's seeing how far.
Testing the fences like the raptors in Jurassic Park.
Clever girl.
No, but I'm saying though, for now, he's trying to go. Let's join forces to get out of this situation because we are literally stuck between.
Well, he could just flick some of his nanobottage on them. Behave, and they could become these new
across the face, neck, and chest.
Although from Jai, it'd have to be from behind. I don't want to see that sprayed on his face.
From behind or up. Those are your only options. It's De Niro from This Boy's Life. No, I don't like to look at the face. No, from behind or on the side. That's your only options. My house, my rules.
Oh God,
it's a great scene.
I've not seen that film. But I tell you a film I have seen, Terminator Genesis.
You have? You didn't want to watch it? I tried to sit with you to watch it. You like
this. Yeah, but you won't even watch Cruising with me, and that is an amazing film. You would love that. You have not seen it.
I've seen parts of Cruising, Ellie, and it was boring.
God, your hairline is boring. Right, so he is asking John is asking Kyle and Sarah, join me, let's be a family together. And then Kyle goes, no. And then John proceeds to say, you hear that, Kyle? And the way he looks up and around, it reminded me exactly of the scene in Leon when Gary Oldman is about to go into the flat just before they raid it, and he's about to take his weird drugs, and he goes, I love these calms before the storms.
It reminds me of Beethoven.
I love Mozart. Yeah.
He was Austrian,
He was Austrian, yeah, so that really made me think of that particular scene. And then obviously he goes absolutely batshit crazy. Now, something I didn't understand, when Jai shoots, he shoots straight. He doesn't actually shoot at John Connor at all. John Connor launches himself at Pops because he obviously realises he's the biggest threat, although how does he know he's a machine? Pushes Jai out the way.
Well, he moves so fast with lightning quick speed that he kind of passes Jai as he makes the shot, so that's why he misses it.
He hits Jai. He hits Jai, but goes, he goes for Arnie, hits Jai. Doesn't touch Sarah. I've literally watched this over and over and over again just to make sure. And then a little bit later in this particular 2-minute clip, she's on the floor. And it's like, why is Sarah on the floor? She wasn't touched. She wasn't hit. Why is she picking herself up off the floor? I don't know. It's weird. And also, what's Pops' opinion of John Connor?
Well, he knows something's rotten in Denmark, to quote, Last Action Hero, another Arnie film. He sees them leaving with an unidentified person on the CCTV cameras. I assume, because he's a Terminator, he would have recognised, to make an apology for the film, he'd know what John Connor maybe looks like. And go, well, he's not supposed to be here. Why is he here? And went out there, and I think he scanned him with his thermovision, and went, he's a machine. And in a damning indictment, or a homage to Pearl Harbor 2001. Well, he's got a gun up the Teddy's backside, and he shoots the Teddy.
Well, what happens
the head
is
off the Teddy?
The shotgun is actually on the floor when they're talking, because you see Jai stood there, then Sarah, and then Pops, and you see quite clearly the shotgun just laying there on the floor. It's like, okay, don't pick up the shotgun that could actually do a bit of damage, as opposed to these lame little handguns that Sarah keeps pointing and trying to look all badass, and it's just like, get back in your box, woman. You're not badass.
Yeah, no, I'm watching the scene now again, and he's actually going for Sarah. It's the Terminator that comes in between him and...
Jai gets knocked to the ground, but Sarah doesn't. And yet, about 30 seconds later, she's... Yeah, I'm watching.
Are you watching the clip, though? Because I've got it on repeat. Yeah, right. Let me just do the playback as really slow. There we go. By the way, listeners, if you have any movie files in MP4, if you play them on VLC Media Player, you press backwards on the playback option for speed. Everyone looks drunk. It's a brilliant way to watch a film. I watched Staying Alive once. It was hilarious. Every scene John Travolta's in, he looks like he's like
God.
drunk. It's brilliant. It's like, hey, how are you? It's really funny, but it doesn't look like it's slow. It's like natural enough that if you only do it halfway and like slow, it looks natural enough that they just look a bit like slow or drunk, or they drank too much cough medicine that morning. So, yeah, right, here we go. He runs past Jai, but he doesn't actually touch him in the scene, so you're right there. He's running to kill or do something with Sarah, and by the top, before he gets to her, Pops tackles him American football style out of the way. But in that next scene where you see that happen, Jai actually falls down, so we don't see him contact with Jai. So I guess
Jai, I swear to God, but he doesn't touch Sarah, and yet Sarah and Jai then see them picking themselves off the floor. Although I feel like we're massively concentrating on all the wrong things right here. But I just thought that was a bit of inconsistency and was just like, well, you fucked up there, didn't you?
Well, no, it's the two machines coming together which pushes Jai out of the way, I guess. I don't know.
What do you think? What do you think of the sound effect it makes when John is prizing Arnie's arms apart and he goes?
I was going to say, it reminds me, it's a bit of an action movie cliche, isn't it? Because when they look at each other and like the other guy. No, well, you think it's in so many films when you think you've got the upper hand, and then the guy goes. It's a bit like Dumb and Dumber when he goes, oh, and like comes back up, bolts upright again. And it cut the tide of the kind of the fight turns, and he's I think he's kind of marveling at his own strength and abilities as well. I'm not sure if that's the human side of John,
but is this the Terminator
or not? I'm not sure. But
that's my point.
Yeah, that's all, yeah. I'm not sure if the Terminator is discovering his power, but I guess maybe you're right, because as this is like an experimental thing, I guess Skynet's
unaware.
I guess it is the unknown. It's going, wow, I can do all these things. Oh my god, yeah. So he nuts Arnie, punches him twice in the face. Arnie like destroys the back of an SUV, and then he tosses off John Connor through a wall. I knew you'd love that one. Now, there is one thing, eagle-eyed viewers and listeners and fans of Terminator. This is a cock-up that they actually all got wrong. Bing. It's 1 minute 14 seconds when they go through the waiting room wall. And, 1 minute 13 seconds, I apologise. Now, as they come through the wall, this was seen actually in the trailer. On the left of the screen, there's a man with his mobile phone making a call. And as they come through, he goes, oh my god, and jumps out of the way. He's got a beard and he's got, like, greying temples. Everyone in the world, every forum, every fan site, every bit of gossip, every kind of bit thing on Reddit or Ain't It Cool News or Superhero Hype or, Crave Online, right? Name your website, basically. Everyone thought in the trailer breakdowns for Terminator Genesis, I think it was in the second or the last two trailers for Terminator Genesis, there's a guy that reels back and jumps out of the way. He's on the right of the screen in this clip at 1 minute 13 seconds. If you actually want to watch the clip, just to remind you listeners, we are actually playing it Mystery Science Theater 3K style on repeat. They all thought this was Robert Partrick. Do you know the one I'm talking about, Ellie? Yeah, everyone, and he does, to be fair, look very much like Robert Partrick now.
But it's not.
Because he's got the kind of little beard, he looks a bit Sons of Anarchy. I don't know, part of me still does think that it's him, but it would have come out now that it was him.
It would be Ethan, you are the internet. If it was, you would know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll happily send this to you, Ellie. But yeah, that does look very much like a Robert Partrick. I think is 59 years old now, so he'd have been 58 then. He looks like Robert Partrick. To me. But apparently no. So it's a cock up on the fans' part. But in their defence, it looks. Well. No, that is our only cock up. However, I will say this: Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, signed up after reading the script of this film and thought it was a well-written story and script. 16 years before appearing as John Connor, Jason Clarke portrayed a character named Eddie Furlong. How weird is that? In the Australian drama series All Saints in 1998. Edward Furlong is the name of the actor that portrayed John Connor as a child in Terminator 2. Of course, Eddie Furlong, as we all know, has had his various troubles in his personal life, which I think is more due to the fact he was a kind of
Yeah, I can
child
understand
star.
that. Look at Britney.
I think it's pretty common. It's very common, isn't it, that children who are kind of like thrust into stardom very early kind of get crazy and either go completely off the rails, and very few actually make it out
But they
alive.
have the most fun.
I suppose being given. God, I bet his life was great up to the point where he's like, I really shouldn't do any more heroin.
Smack is whack.
Anyway.
Right, so my next consideration for this particular 2 minutes, the canister that gets used, canister, not Caniston Duo.
Caniston?
I'm not that old yet.
Oh.
Caniston Duo.
Is that
is
thrush
it
cream
thrush
for
or is
Jews?
it, if you can't...
Caniston is for thrush, but you said duo. I was like, oh, is it for Jews? I was trying.
Every time, but it's fine.
We try and get a Jew
Jewish
joke
friends,
in every
so we're
episode.
kosher.
I apologise.
That canister that gets used as a weapon, is that? Do we think that's nitrous oxide, and why would it be in a waiting room?
Well, it's probably, I'd assume, oxygen,
But that's
as
a
you've got a
waiting
lot of
room.
people in there that would need oxygen.
You don't get
Yeah.
oxygen tanks in waiting rooms, Ethan. Not huge industrial ones like that. The only times I've seen them
well,
that big
let-
is at free parties
let me
and they've
just-
been
let
stolen
me just
and
put
they're
the-
full of nitrous oxide.
Okay, well, in the defence of the nitrous oxide being in the waiting room, it's not with anyone in particular. It's on a trolley,
But
a heavy load trolley, easy, with a hospital orderly carrying it. As they break through the wall, he knocks it over, and the nurse standing next to him also knocks it over. So I'm assuming, in defence of the film, they're in
I love
there
the
to kind of collect a
consideration
patient
for
that
the
perhaps
civilians
might
also
need
waiting
oxygen.
in that
So I'm-
changing room, waiting room. Arnie just clips it out the way. That could have killed every single person in that room. that would kill you instantly if that hit you.
Well, I didn't. That's a movie conceit, isn't it? It's like one of those things in films. It's like when you see someone drop a cigarette into petrol, and the whole place is. That would never happen in
Yeah.
real life because you need an actual spark to ignite gasoline or petrol. Apparently, you can't drop a cigarette into petrol. Don't obviously try it at home,
would that
folks, or at the
canister
local
not
gas
kind of
station. I implore
project
you.
itself? Yeah.
Explode.
This was the Jaws one.
Well,
though.
Mythbusters
They
did
were
an episode on
shooting
this, didn't
it,
they? They did all the they did all the myths. They made up a rubber shark head, and they what is it? They took
And they
one
were
of those
doing all
canisters. They were
different
trying to
types of
shoot it with
guns,
incendiary
different
bullets, and I
distances,
can't remember what.
eventually what actually kept happening is it kept ricocheting off the canister. But then I think one of them went in
That's it. And then they
I
got
think
some
one of them went in,
badass
but it didn't
armor-piercing
explode
bullet, wasn't it?
at all. I think it actually knocked the canister out of the.
That's it.
I think it destroyed the rubber head of the shark, but then it knocked the canister through its head and out the back. It was enjoyable though.
Yeah, because I suppose this is movie. You're accurate then, because when he knocks the top off the pipe, I'm assuming in reality there'd be some kind of stopper, so you couldn't just break off the top
nanobot
and have a hole in the top of it. But yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, in the film Jaws, which is what Mythbusters were doing, when he shoots the can, it explodes and the shark just goes 3 ways from Sunday.
Can you please just do
but
the voice?
I guess, quite rightfully, as is real.
Oh, no.
Smile, you son of a bitch! What are you talking about? Oh, I never put a life jacket on
That's
again,
got to be
Chief.
one of your best ones.
Shark, chick goes in the water, wife's in the
That
water.
and your Anthony
Our
Hopkins
wife.
20 years ago. Bloody good stuff.
20 years ago.
I'm not watching Westworld.
Speaking of Anthony Hopkins,
I
Ellie,
barely have enough time to watch the inside of my eyelids, Ethan.
damn it, please watch it.
Do you know what? The next time,
Oh,
the next time
please.
I actually see you, because it has been a while now. The next time I see
Well, you could, you
we'll,
just
we'll
need to
watch an
make time.
episode, and you can see my natural reaction. So I can't just go, no, I don't like it. You'll see if I actually like it or not.
Well, for me, I think listeners and Ellie, of course, I think Westworld was great for the. I didn't like the first episode, even though everyone said it was great. I thought it was quite slow. It's quite a slow series because I think it deals more in
Opposed to
philosophy
the original.
of what it is to be. Like the very things we've actually talked about. One episode about this very show, Ellie. I think at the end of series 3, you got up and stormed out of a room because we were talking about artificial intelligence
know,
and
but
sex
that's because
robots,
you
and
were
this
just being a
deals with
massive
that
prick
very,
and
very
basically
thing.
like, sorry, Ellie. in 5 years' time, you're fucked. And I was just like, no, not everyone wants to fuck a robot.
Oh, well, that's nothing to do with sex robots. That's
I know,
just
but I'm hoping to
30s
keep
and
hold of
no
my
one will
kind
be
of like
interested in you
impish,
anymore.
childish look, so that when I'm 30, I won't actually look 30. Oh god.
Well, unless you start juicing at work 3 times a day. Trust me.
Boring.
You
I
won't.
could just juice like
What are you
Sophie
mucking
and
about?
look amazing and be a complete and utter cunt inside.
Sophie doesn't look amazing. This is the thing. For all those like liver cleanses she does, I'm not going to say a second name, even though I know you listen to the show. Hello, Sophie. You know,
then
it
why
doesn't
would it-
kind
so
of
why would it make
hold
me
her
look
in
any
good
better?
stead or make her look kind of any better. I mean,
You look like her younger brother.
I'm a decade older and still look better. And
anyway,
I kind of eat cheeseburgers.
Back
and
to the film.
if it was a massive
Considering
Jew.
actually that Arnie, a T800 is God knows how old, he's putting up a really good fight, and I actually think the T800 model is probably the far superior out of all of them. It's just really hardy. He's still putting up an amazing fight against this brand new human / Terminator. Also, there was something else. Oh yeah, the magnet. So when the MRI machine gets turned on, they will both obviously get sucked into it. Behave. And then Sarah tells Kyle. She goes, "You gotta switch the machine off." He switches it off. They both hit the deck, and yet it's Arnie who gets up immediately and just walks off. And yet the brand new Terminator, who's actually probably less metal, took quite a while. Like he's still kind of stuck to the ground and struggling to get up. Yeah.
You mean Jason Clarke's John Connor Terminator? Well, the main reason for that is I guess he's like the Sandman in Spider-Man the comic and Spider-Man 3. He's kind of like
But no, if you
Arnie's
think
one
about
big
it, if
chunk
that's
of
one
metal that could
huge chunk
potentially,
of
I guess,
metal,
get
that's
away.
a
They
hell of a
turn
lot
off the
more
machine, of
weight.
course, in this scene, but
Like magnetic pull, so surely it should have taken Arnold longer. Plus, he's really old.
no, because he's essentially iron filings, isn't he, John Connor? He's like a swarm of insects or bees
Sorry, that
or
just makes me
something.
think of
He's
Nicolas
tiny little
Cage.
parts. So the attack of the MRI magnetic pull.
Oh, so good. I love you, Nicolas Cage.
Not
If I
the
could ever meet
bees,
Nicolas Cage,
not
I
the
think my life
bees.
would be complete.
Ah!
Put the ball back in the box.
Hi, I'm
Yeah, do you not think the T800 is probably the best model? You would hate
I'm more of a
that.
treasure protector.
Do we not? What do you think is the best model?
I'd probably say the T850 because I think, for all his faults, the third Arnold version, he kind of like was torn to pieces and exploded, and he still flew a helicopter and still fought and killed the T3000. Is it T2000? No, the TX. Sorry, Christina Loken's version of the Terminator. Oh, you know what? Having said even
Until they were
that,
dead.
maybe the first Terminator, because he literally would not stop until he was like,
Back
there was
when
still half of
Terminator
him.
was
He was
scary.
still on his mission, even though he was just a pair of arms and a head.
I don't know. They could. They don't. They won't have. They won't.
They
have
could make
Brad
it scary
Fiddle
again, though. I
making
mean,
music. There won't be the
if
really
anyone's never
shitty
listened to
special
this
effects, which are
show
actually
until
really
this
good.
season,
Like, it all creates such an atmosphere. Even the type of film they used to use back then, you know, it's a bit grainy. I love that. I love watching an old film. It's like when they say, "Oh, you can watch this old film now in colour or in HD," and it's just like, no, I actually love. Oh God, you make me sick.
It's a Wonderful Life is better, all the better for being in colour. Oh, the money's a Bill's house. Oh God. No, well, someone mentioned this on a podcast. It's what the trap that Predator films have fallen into. It went away from being this stripped-down survival horror movie, kind of, and then by the time you get to Predator 2,
It's
he
an
becomes
extender.
almost like this James Bond character when he's got like a flying disc and an extendable spear. And I think the Predator series hasn't really recovered from that either, because it depowers and does a disservice to the character, because now he's all reliant on
Bloody?
gadgets, whereas the first Predator was just, he had like one blade and his gun, and it was all about the kind of thrill of the hunt and like killing people and skinning them. He was a horror movie character essentially, and then by the time you get to Predator 2, he's got all these fucking gadgets and things
stuff.
that he uses, and the spear gun that he shoots, that little kind of that fork he shoots out of his wrist that Danny finds before Danny gets it, you know. And then you've got like the Predators, who've got even more amazing gadgets, and then you've got Alien versus Predator, which aren't canon, but they've got all kinds of little bells and whistles and little things they rely on, like Ninja Shuriken. And I think Terminator's done that. They've lost what the essence of it was, this unstoppable monster that just keeps coming after you, and there's nothing you can literally do. Terminator 2 was scary, because even in the middle of watching that, I was like, how the hell are they going to resolve this film? What can stop this thing? It's liquid metal. What could they do?
That weird music, you know, it all sounded kind of... Brad Fiedel did such a great job.
Yeah, oh no, absolutely.
Like, it all sounds machine movement. It's great.
Yeah, it doesn't make... I don't know what's happened to Brad Fiedel, but I think he's stopped making film music, because I think he just didn't... I don't think he enjoyed it anymore. He was kind of like shut out, or he just said it was too hard, and someone comes and changes your ideas, so he kind of like forcibly retired himself.
Fright Night, cracking. And that's about as far as I go. And so my last note that I have made on this particular piece of paper, actually there's two notes. We discover how quickly Jai would leave Pops as he is about to go. And she's like, no, I can't leave him. I've got to go get Pops. The strength at which he tries to hold Sarah back is baffling. This tiny little girl, she literally does two like shrugs and then just grabs the gun and just runs off. It's like great protector Jai. So he was just going to leave Pops. So if I was Sarah, that would really piss me off. I'd be like, so you're telling me the guy that brought me up? This is like whenever you try and cuss out my dad, Ethan. I'm just like, hang on a second. That man is that man is a fucking saint. Plus, I kind of fancy him. What?
Yeah, but...
I'm joking.
Well, oh my god. We're going to save that for the next podcast, hopefully next year, where it's more about Ellie's weird sexual proclivities versus the
you've already
actual
put up,
Terminator.
I'm obsessed with big black horse cocks. How much worse can it get?
You're not obsessed with it. You just have some bizarre fascination with it. I just question it sometimes. Sometimes I do it on the show. Sometimes I ask you in real life.
Sometimes you ask me when you're recording, and you still
don't tell you exactly. Anyway, listeners, once again, we shall return tomorrow with another show, and Wednesday. But again, punishing horrible work schedules. We've got the British Fashion Awards coming up, and I'll be tied up with that, and Ellie will be like trapped in her nightmare of a job as well. So we are doing our best to try and get out as many shows out a week as we can. We're managing 3 so far, even though we did 2 last week, so technically that's a lie. I apologise.
I lied.
So yeah, we'll be back on. We'll be back tomorrow and Wednesday, of course, with a show, and then Thursday, Friday, you've got to find your entertainment somewhere else, sadly.
That's entertainment. Sorry.
I could post a certain link for the... No, I won't do that.
No.
Anyway.
Oh my god, as if you would!
You can actually follow the clips we're talking about, listeners. If you go to 2 Minute Terminator at youtube.com, you can actually see the clip on repeat, Mystery Science Theatre 3K style. And you can, of course, find us on Facebook, which has got a great number of clips and stills and things. The best, in my humble opinion, on the internet of all the Terminator films. And we've got many, many fans in Asia and India. So, Shaka Zedamesh, thank you for the support. And we're just going to keep knocking out shows and doing our best for you. We should be hopefully getting back to 5 shows a week soon, but it's just this Christmas event period is like ruining our lives. Ellie's schedule is even worse than mine, so I can only, point and laughter and go, oh, well.
It's the kid that points and laughs at everyone.
Downloading films.
Yeah, you absolutely
but yeah, we'll be back.
I hate you.
We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow with episode 36, and today's bumper music, everyone, is the DaVinci Code by Hans Zimmer. I hope you liked it.
Hasta la vista,
baby.